always have a soft spot for the local companies in the Fringe. Now, I've toured the Fringe circuit. I've been a national performer. I haven't been an international performer, but I've stage managed for some international shows. But I always have a soft spot for the local companies because to me, the Fringe is quite often for them. It's for the people who maybe can't afford to rent out a venue for a week to perform a show. It's for the people who have a play that they want to test out and are kind of unsure of how it's going to go, and so they test it out on the insanely open-minded audience that the Fringers are. It's for the people like we had last year, moms and dads and sons and daughters who decide, let's put on a play, and they do, and it's awesome. You know, like this is one of the things that I love about our festival. And I'm particularly happy about this year too because we had a lot of really strong local companies, but we had a lot of local companies who didn't get into the festival and said, I'm doing a BYOV. Now, normally we have BYOVs, we always do, but this year I had an unprecedented amount of applications. I had to turn some down for the first time ever in Ottawa Fringe history. And these are site-specific, beautiful, interesting projects that I wish I could have showcased all of them, but unfortunately we just don't have the resources to do it all right now. But there's everything from interesting, like site-specific BYOV shows to, shows, for example, one written by Margot McDonald, who found out she was in the festival, a month and a half ago? Because a slot opened up and I said, you're in, you want it? Oh, I better write a show. Okay, great. And then next thing you know, she's in. So the local category always warms my heart a bit.
So 20 shows in the national category, coming from Victoria, the land of smoked salmon, all the way to Montreal, the land of smoked meat. So, starting in Victoria, we have a guitar virtuoso who plays Canadian hits. Then we move to 2 shows from Vancouver that includes a smoky cabaret and a vaudeville comedy. And then if we drove for a really, really long time, we would hit Saskatoon. And I want to talk and take a stop there about the show coming from Saskatoon called It's Raining in Barcelona, which is a really neat sounding piece that's a translation of a Catalan playwright that's having its Canadian premiere on the tour. And it's 3 characters in the slums of Barcelona having toured affairs and such. And the cast of actors in this show seems highbrow. This is like all that Saskatoon has to offer. They pulled out all the stops and nobody's going to be in their regional theaters because they're just going to be touring the festival. So that sounds pretty good, so we can see what the wheat-fed talent has to show us. Mostly this is just food puns, sorry. We also have 2 shows from Winnipeg. One is a stand-up comedy, and the other is a show called Unequal Harvest, which makes sure our Fringe feast is an ethical one. So looking in the program, there's a guy named Raj Patel. I read this book this summer called Stuffed and Starved, which is basically about all of the ethical implications of what we eat, and he's seen the show and thinks it's good. So therefore, I take his celebrity endorsement because Naomi Klein read his book and thought it was good. So the celebrity endorsement for this play just grows and grows and grows. So that's Unequal Harvest. And then if we move on for a really long time, we get to what I'm going to call my favorite Fringe show from the national group that I haven't seen yet, called Heartstrings. So, okay, this is what I got from their website. Fed up with the unpredictable impulses of her heart, one girl declares hers defective and sends it back to where it came from. But unfortunately, then it returns. So in this play, you have one girl who's playing the girl with the sending her heart away, and another girl playing the heart. And also the girl who plays the heart is in an electro-punk band, and there's Clown. What? I was a bit too excited even for food puns. Oh, wait. Except like, eat your heart out, Ottawa. All right, thank you. Then we've got a thriller from Windsor, a comedy about a cockroach from London, and then 9 shows from Toronto. So Toronto is apparently thinking that they have too much theater, so they're going to send some of it to us. Including Bob Wiseman's Actionable. So Bob Wiseman is a performer who used to be in Blue Rodeo, but now he just spends all of his time in court, it appears. It's a multimedia storytelling piece where he uses his accordion and a whole bunch of other instruments to tell about what happens when you try to use storytelling as a tool to expose the man when the man is the one who runs your record label. I saw Bob Wiseman at the Meg North Festival this summer, and he is awesome. It was standing room only, and he also wears overalls as a fashion statement, so that should tempt you. Oh, and he's also played with Feist, so more celebrity endorsement. Also from Toronto, we have Bremner Duthie, who is a Fringe favorite. He was here a couple years back with Whiskey Bars. Man in a towel singing, bald man, very handsome, tall. He's back. I don't know if he's in a towel, but he is singing. A little non-kosher feast with a show called The Pig of Happiness, which promises musical selections from Kurt Weill to Britney Spears. We then have one comedy from Kingston, and then the furthest east we go is a rock opera all the way from Montreal called The Duck Wife. And this tells me, the internet again told me this is a dance rock opera retelling of an Inuit folktale, which sounded pretty good. It's a collaboration between dancers and the band Grub Animal, and the band performs live on stage with the dancers. And although they are from the land of poutine and baby duck, they also have collected many performers from Winnipeg, Calgary, France, Edmonton, Halifax, and America. It's 13 people listed on their Fringe site as involved in the production, so this is one to check out, if only because they probably will need your money.
Hi folks, my name is Pierre Bro. I'm here to tell you about the international part, the international flavors, the flavors from the world, as it were, and I'm very happy and delighted to do that. The Ottawa Fringe Festival is an important part of not just the local community, but the national and international community as well. On a personal note, the Ottawa Fringe Festival has pretty well set where I wanted to go in my life. From the very first time I hit the stage of the Ottawa Fringe, I knew that I had found a home, and I think that everybody in Ottawa who comes to the Fringe and the beer tent and gets smashed knows the same thing. So just a flavor of some of the things that we are going to see from across the world, starting in Boston, USA, where we have a phone whore. I said a phone whore. That's right. Yeah, we'll hang out. Oh, sorry, I should do this in my best 900 voice. We'll hang out with me for an hour, and I'll rock your fucking world. Truth about taboos collide in this intimate visit with a phone sex operator. Listen closely. She may change your views on sex forever. She probably won't tell me how to get my money back, but that's good. Also, next we have, all the way from Glasgow, Scotland. You can clap if you want, if you've heard of these places, that helps. Glasgow, Scotland. We're going to have a thing called Underneath It All, which is a comedy drama. When Ed decides to take solace in a janitor's closet during an awful office party, he's surprised to find that there is already somebody lurking in the darkness. At first it's all fun and games, until they both realize they're locked in with the one person they hate the most. I'm guessing it's Jean-Paul Sartre, but I don't know. Then, of course, all the way from Melbourne, Australia, John O'Cat. So you haven't heard of him. Too bad. Anyway, Jono is, of course, an institution, not just here, but around the world at Fringe festivals, and he's always delighted to come back to Ottawa. His new show is called The Seduction. It's a side-splitting comedy that is both irresistible love story and a carnival of boundless imaginings. There's not too many details, but the reviews look amazing. Deserves more exclamation marks than the paper will allow. If you can't get tickets, it is imperative that you either steal or sneak in. And another one we have, which I think is such an intriguing title that I definitely would love to come and see it, and that is The Last Straight Man in Theater. And this comes from Brooklyn, the United States, with Kurt Fitzpatrick, and what David Lynch would do if he ever created a comedy. I think that kind of says it all in many ways. From Venezuelan male prostitutes to brainy teenage girls with big necks. Everyone needs love in the dead of night. So I'm looking forward to that. Just a couple of more things from Burlington, a thing called 7 Days, which is getting a lot of buzz. Amiga has come to Earth to save the world. A world which is inside the mind of a woman he loves. A very brain-splitting physical comedy, again, from Australia. So let's, yes, is that Australia? It's Canberra, Australia. Sorry, that's their capital. Okay, let's move on. The last one will be, which I'm really intrigued, comes all the way from Japan. So I'm sure he Googled Ottawa and went, yeah, why not? So here we go. It is called Shoshins. The company is Hiroma Yano Shoshins, presenting a show called A Day in the Life of Miss Hiccup. The mysterious Miss Hiccup lives alone, but is definitely not lonely. She is forever accompanied by a raucous cast of sounds and music that make her life an absurd adventure. Shishons is Japanese for shy, timid people, but this surreal Tokyo comedian will lure you in and bend your mind with brilliant physical theater, dance, absurd music, and song. Does that sound thrilling? Yeah?